Generally, with this kind of draft that SMG is running, you want to try and secure a pickoff, and what the hell is that? We've got an Omni Knight on the board, Jonathan. Now, as far as I'm aware, and people have been saying this a lot recently, Omni Knight's like the heavenly, like the light Abaddon, right? So it's kind of like an Abaddon, just the lighter version. But now Army Geniuses, they get the Wommy Broodmother. So things are getting very spicy in this game one.
It is. Brood into Darkseer is always brave, as you would know, as we've known, as we've seen it before. You Iron Shell one of the Spiderlings, it becomes really hard to micro them away, so you just constantly lose out on your army. Not only that, but there's a TA with Psyblades, there's an Omni Knight with the AoE heal. There's a lot here to kind of deal with the Brood, and I think you've got to be cautious about that. But it is a Wami special. They know how to play around the timings. I think that's key. Omni Knight, as you mentioned, just like Abaddon, it has a good heal, a good dispel on hand, can keep the team alive with his ult. So there's a lot to contribute here. I'm expecting that to be our support Omni Knight, of course. So Omni Knight, Earth Spirit support duo. On the support role for SMG, I'm trying to recall. I think we've seen it, when we've casted at least, we've seen it more on KP.
Right.
So on the support role, it can be a bit greedy, but depending on your lane matchup, just act like an Abaddon, run them down. You have a slow as well. Pretty much a retooled Abaddon kit if you really think hard about it.
I think
the TA pickup for SMG, it plays well with Darkseer because you vac and you Psyblades. So it's pretty scary if you can get that done. I worry about the lane matchup, Kunkka versus TA. You have a great way to burn through Refraction as you get levels up in your Torrent. So you're not going to be protected from the damage reduction on that TA. And it's a melee matchup. It's harder to line up Psyblades on a melee hero. As long as you kind of dodge where you have to make that conscious choice of, are you going to go for the CS or are you going to go for harass? Whereas with a ranged hero, you can kind of get both the best of both worlds in one hit. So it's easier to kind of juggle around there for Mamagaya.
Apologies, John. I think this is meant to be a +5 Omni, right? Like it has to be. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I just heard you say
it's offline with Darkseer.
Yeah, I heard you say KP and Omni Knight. That's why I was like, wait a minute, hold on a minute. I don't think we're seeing a +5 Darkseer here, but yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically like Abaddon, right? It's just another version of Abaddon. Yeah,
like the toolkit's the same. You've got the dispel, you've got the heal, you've got the slow. You can kind of go crazy with how you level it. Normally you go for the heal, but you never know here in the lane. I was just saying that for SMG, and most times we've watched him, it has before tended to be the KP hero, right? Like it was in that offlane role where we saw a lot of teams copy SMG and start picking offlane Omni Knight as well. I think it was the Fall Invitational for OEDL where we saw that happen. So been a little bit of time on the support role, not as frequent, but SMG are still familiar with the hero, and there was an early Abaddon ban, so this kind of compensates for that.
Final pickups. Gotta admit, John, I have been a bit nervous going into today's stream. There's already a bit of beard talk going on in the chat right now, though it is directed towards you, surprisingly enough. You didn't grow your beard, Jonathan. Very, very upsetting.
2 days is not enough. I just look like a bum.
Yeah.
I just look unpresentable when I try to grow a beard. I just don't look good.
I was nervous because I just trimmed my beard. Luckily, nobody's really picked up on it quite yet. I've got to admit though, John, I did make a mistake. I was streaming. In fact, hold that thought, because we do have a Bloodseeker pickup for the last pick for AG, but I was streaming. And I believe I went 1-4. I lost 4 games in a row, and I won the last one. And I was so mad afterwards. I was fuming afterwards. And I decided I would go trim my beard a bit. And naturally, I was furious while I was trimming my beard. And I think I may have gone a little bit too short, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stream now. It does look fairly short. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. You look younger. You look younger. I remember the time where you actually fully shaved, and you just looked like a different person. I don't know if a lot of people recall that, but that's like Pro Series 1. If you check out the VOD, you do not know it's Mike.
John, what's this? Mid-1 Tide Hunter. What is this? Let me start off by saying I like the enthusiasm. I like the experimentation here from Team SMG. I appreciate what they're going for. But John, what are they doing? What's the plan here? Is this like a Shards anchor smashing POS 1 Tide that we're looking at? Is that the idea?
Yeah. That sounds really scary if you look at the lineup. like vacuum into a big anchor smash, you get maybe a Vlad's or just a casual Morbid Mask for lifesteal with the Ag Shard, and then the Deso comes out on your TA. You can just melt these heroes. It's still the tied TA. It's just we have a tied 1. Tied 1, it farms really well because of Anchor Smash. You can actually just take that jungle really quick. You can maybe hold your lane against a Broodmother. Never fun for melee heroes to lane up against the Tide. Even the Brood is not going to have a fun time there. So you hold your own in that matchup. You've got a team fight spell now to tie in with a Vac Wall in Ravage. It actually has a pretty good spot in this draft. The issue is, if you take a bit too long in farming with your Tide and TA, Army Geniuses have heroes that don't need as much farm. They just need levels up, especially under supports. Like once Lion, once Phoenix, and once Bloodseeker perhaps has her 6, along with a Kunkka 6, they can just rotate to side lanes and really be aggressive and punish the slower lineup.
I like this. I think it might work though, right? Like so much team fight now with the Ravage up, you've got the Vac Wall, you've got all the Earth Spirit spells. How are you going to kill this Tide as well, right? He's got Kraken Shell plus the Heavenly Grace from Omni Knight. So I think Tide's just become unkillable. Not to mention the bonus strength he's going to get from Heavenly Grace, which will make him even tankier. It's going to be a very interesting game. I'm looking very forward to seeing how SMG does with this draft. And again, I'm very glad that they've decided they're going to start experimenting here. And I think against AG, they're a very scary team. And you've got to kind of go left field with your drafts. When you do go against them, right? You don't want to let them just kind of surprise you. And once again, John, I appear to have forgotten my my open mic, so there we go. All opened up now. But I'm very intrigued. I'm very excited to see what SMG's game plan is here. I can't remember seeing a mid 1 Tide Hunter before. Though it may have happened at some point.
It's a treat for sure. I think the lane matchup now for Wami is just extra hard. He's up against a Tide, he's up against that Omni combination. Very durable, as you pointed out. Lots of AoE clear. So even when those Spiderlings are up, Wami's going to have to be really active in his micro to move them away, prevent them from melting down. Why is UK wishing Daya to have fun? He's on his own team. He doesn't need to say it in all chat. What?
Who knows? It's all about the mind games, Jonathan. All about the mind games. And Moon's already getting tipped by everybody. They've picked their target agent. This is the target they're going for. I mean, Moon's got a lot of pressure this game, John. He's playing basically the POS 1 of SMG. Right? Like, the TA is your damage dealer. Moon is essentially the position 1 this game. And I think as well as mid 1 may do on that Tide, it is still a Tide Hunter in the end.
Yeah, it's got its own limitations, especially in getting that damage out in the late game. We'll have to see how he does. His matchup here for Moon is against that Kunkka. And Mamang Daya is on his specialty Kunkka, and it's a melee hero, so side blades are a bit harder to line up. Moon's just pocketing his level 1 skill. Down the line, Mamang Daya is going to be able to have, of course, the Torrent out, and you can just melt through Refraction. So it's hard for Moon to feel safe if he overextends on those trades. Mamang Daya should just be able to use his Tidebringer to get his farm up. And the level 6 spike of Mamang Daya is where you do have to watch out here for Moon. We have seen AG. They're willing to rotate their supports in, find that kill on mid, and make things happen for Daya from there. Or, you know, Daya could just walk to the side lane with all his control and start running from there. Probably not top. I think you'd have to really watch your bot lane, because that's where none of the protection's at. So just kind of have to be conscious about when those level spikes are up.
Is that what we're calling him now? Daya? Just for short? Just not even Mamang Daya anymore. We'll just call him Daya from now on, like we're best mates.
Actually, while we're still on this tangent on Daya, Mamang Daya, I was requested by Fearless to actually call him a different name, a much longer name. His old call sign of PG Orca Mamang Daya Dararawet.
Sorry, excuse me? Could you repeat that, please?
PG.Orca.Mamang Daya.Dararawet. That's apparently what Fearless wants me to call him, and he's going to clip it, so there you go.
Dararawet,
I hope you're happy too. Yeah.
Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah. Dararawet.
Dararawet.
Like
a machine gun or something. Like Dararawet. like a rapper these days, right? They just make these sounds. Yeah, right. Thank you for that, Jonathan. I appreciate the history lesson on Mamang Daya. Bottom lane, we do have KP there on the Darkseer, as expected, and he is going to be there with Arfu on the Earth Spirit. Very strong off-lane duo. That being said, against the DB Bloodseeker in UK, it is a bit challenging to understand how this matchup's going to go, but I'd still have to argue that DB should have a pretty rough time once you get a couple more levels on KP's Darkseer.
Yeah, it's not going to feel great. The one thing the Darkseer has is excellent wave clear. You can just kind of clear the creep wave without over-committing on the right clicks. You can sustain yourself with turrets, but you do have to watch for that damage output. Once the Iron Shell's at level 2, they can just run you down, especially that Phoenix. UK is the one who I think really has to watch his spacing there, and has to watch his Fire Spirit use. The Fire Spirits is the one thing to save them when they're jumped in. You kind of have to measure out when you use it. Instead of going for the harassment on it, you might as well use it as like a counter-initiation spell here.
Okay, thank you for that jump. And top lane seems to be a bit of a roaming duo of Rogi and LYM right now. Water Rune going to be picked up by LYM. Just going for a bit of a race for that Water Rune at the top side. And of course, you're going to have Wommy there on the Broodmother and mid one on the Tide. Of course, mid one, even once the Spiderlings are up, is going to be able to easily clear them out. Assuming Wommy does kind of throw the Spiderlings into that Darkseer. Excuse me, not Darkseer, rather Tidehunter. But I was going to say, as KP does have the Darkseer, he's probably going to get a big influx of gold as the game goes on. Because you just Iron Shell one of the Spiderlings and you just wipe them out every time. It's too hard to split them up.
Yeah, it really is. That micro is way too much to handle, and all the lanes for Wommy are just pretty rough. Like, he should still be able to try and shut down the top, but I don't think SMG is going to be scared of the Brood. And we have seen what happens when the Brood can't actually buy that space. It starts to lag behind it.
He certainly does. Well, bot lane, first blood does occur. UK is going to drop, and this was to be expected. I mean, again, double Iron Shells. You've got the roll, no silence even necessary. It looks like UK went for a dive, had it on cooldown, and they just dived him immediately. Which is, again, once you use that Icarus dive, there's no way out. You're screwed if the roll connects.
Yeah, the target to always go for is going to be that Phoenix. And DB has really good move speed, although KP...
Yeah, he could be in trouble. Bloodrite is going to connect, and KP's dead. So UK, he comes right back in with the level 1 Fire Spirit, gets the kill, and DB puts the hand up, asking for a high five, and he'll get nothing.
Yeah, it's the one thing with Darkseer you've got to watch out for. You do need the Earth Spirit for presence there, as otherwise the Darkseer can just kind of stand in lane, get the hits off, and KP was out of mana as well, so there was no threat of Iron Shell turnarounds, or even just damage coming through. And there is still power in this lane for AG. You just have to ensure that SMG can't play the way they want. And you already see Afu just making a break for mid. They are dropping some deep wards in early on to kind of watch the stacks, because this is something AG does from their mid, just build up and farm up for Mamang Daya.
Yeah, absolutely. Top lane again, LYM and Rogi are still kind of running circles right now. This has been happening for a very long time. And they're still going. Just chasing each other down. Rogi will eventually leave LYM alone. He doesn't have the aura anyway. He does have the Orb of Venom up on the Omni Knight, but no boots, so he's not going to be able to keep up with the Lion. And now it looks like he's going to go for a bit of a small camp pool, but he only wants half the wave. He's going to get 3 creeps. Not too bad, but you are going to have some creeps going back down the lane now.
Yeah. I think this is one way to kind of manage that Tide lane as well. Like, Wommy only having to deal with the Tide. It's still bad. It's not as bad as it could be, because you can still trade hits, you can still farm without worrying about that Purification nuke just running you down while you go for the CS. It does sacrifice LYM's EXP, and on the Lion, at the delayed level 6, that delayed finger can hurt your burst potential down the line. But I think if you're just looking for those stable lanes, stable starts, LYM's doing a really good job of just keeping Raji away.
Oh, absolutely. I guess that is just the game plan. Just
let Mamang Daya?
Mamang Daya, mid lane, gonna get dived here. Fu, he got the roll, Boulder Smash off, and Moon, he gets the kill, and that's gonna be a really nice start for Moon now. He's already leading in CS, but now with an added kill on top, he's gonna be able to out-level Mamang Daya. And that's never really great news if you're a Kunkka, right? Like, you are quite XP dependent. And, giving a start like this to a TA, you know, it is quite scary in this current meta.
It really is, and I'm surprised we didn't see that early rotation from AG. They had level 6 under Kunkka, they have the boat ready, they could have easily lined up, say, an X into Earth Spike combination into the rest of the spells. They might catch Raji now, though.
They may. Raji, he does have the Heavenly Grace, that might tank him up just a little bit, but the boat's gonna come in. He'll try to purify, but it's not gonna help enough. Mamang Daya, he will get a bit of revenge now, and I mean, quite frankly, he is still the same level as Moon regardless of his death. Bit of XP behind, but not too much. He'll be able to catch up quite easily on the Kunkka. So even with that death earlier on, I guess maybe it's not going to be such a big of a deal. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, they are still building up more farm here on the side of Moon. He's got some good stacks to clear. It wasn't blocked early enough.
But mid one.
So they're still getting golden vision.
He's going to be able to at least soak the XP. He'll try to Anchor Smash. Mana being drained, but he does have the Soul Ring. Goes for the Anchor Smash on the Kunkka. Now DB's going to TP in, and they'll go straight for a Rupture. Mid one, he needs some help right here, right now. Blood Knight's down. Roger going to try and heal him up, but it's probably not going to be enough. He does have Ravage, but he doesn't pop it. He'll hold out for now as he keeps trying to run with that Heavenly Grace. He is such a tanky target, but they will eventually get him. It just took a hell of a long time. Meanwhile, Rogi, Blood Right not going to land, but DB is running very, very fast. Does he want to dive the tier 1 tower? No. Not with our full round, and of course you don't know where Moon is either on the TA. They'll let Rogi go, but they got the big target anyway.
Yeah, they got the Tide. I don't think that's the big target this game. Moon is still allowed to clear out the triangle. He's at 4.8k net worth, a full 1,000 above Mamang Daya. And this TA, if it's left unchecked, is really going to have a lot of space to farm.
They're going to try and make a jump in on UK now. He does have the Icarus Dive available, but he's trying to get deep enough. Oh, the silence is not going to land either. Arfu kind of missing out on that one. Vacuum off the mark there from KP. It's going to really ensure that UK just gets out of here. In Arfu, he could still try to go for a blind roll, but he's not going to bother. UK, he's quite hidden now. He should be just fine.
This could mean that the bot tower just falls with commitment from SMG. The side of AG not quite in position for the defense. They do pop the fort, but they might find UK.
Yeah, they may, John. UK, yeah, they found him. Traps there to give the vision. Never mind, he was not in a great hiding spot. KP and Arfu, they do sniff out the Phoenix. Another kill going the way of SMG, and well, it's like you said, they are going to find that tier 1 bottom tower for really no cost. And while that's happening, the top tier 1, it's going to be well and truly protected. I mean, while I was saying that, Rogi does end up dying on Wami, but that top lane should be well and truly protected. Like, I really can't imagine mid 1 dying unless they commit 4 or 5 heroes again. And they just may. In fact, they will. The Rupture's there. They're going to go for the X-up. He has the Ravage. He might just pop it. The boat is going to connect. He needs some help right here, right now. Is he going to be able to get it in time? Purification, Heavenly Grace. It's all there, mid 1. He is still going to survive as now the roll and the wall's been dropped. They want to go for more DB. He does make it out. But can they fight? They're going to try. A big Tidebringer hit. KP is very, very low. Look at DB. He's just rushing forward. The movement speed is insane. And they'll get a 3-for-1 trade. It might even be more. Mid 1, he's not out of the woods yet. He's going to try and run, but there are spiders chasing, and Wami is not going to give up. Blood Right, if it connects, should be enough, and they won't even need it. They'll get the spawn spiderlings. And I thought that was going to be a nice enough turn from SMG, but just the amount of damage coming out from DB and Mamang Daya right now, it just deletes so much of your HP so instantaneously. It's almost like SMG, they just didn't expect it to happen that way.
What SMG is trying to do is really just stall out and buy space for Moon. He gets to shove in mid in his free time. He should be careful here, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That Torrent already taking all that refraction off, but they aren't going to go for the X back on Moon. It'll be just fine to go back into the jungle. Meanwhile, mid 1 trying to defend that top tier 1, but Wami, he just completely ignores the Tide Hunter. It just goes right in for the tower, and he will indeed even get the tower gold. But SMG, they're going to try and pressure the mid tier 1, and this will be well worth it for them. They lose a top tier 1, but you got the mid tier 1 tower. You're very happy now if you're SMG. And they even start pinging out the bottom tier 2 already. Just feeling very, very confident they can apply the pressure. Of course, Moon, he will need to at least get the Deso up before you do start moving into those tier 2s.
Yeah, the one thing right now for SMG is that while Moon is above everyone else in the farm and still maintaining that lead, still has the space in the triangle to really build up, you are really sacking mid 1 and KP's farm. KP's still triangle.
Yeah, I mean, he got the Heavenly Grace off. He was farming quite deep in the mid lane, and they're going to get the kill. Bit of a small error there from Rogi, just very, very deep into that mid. He may have felt safe because there was no mid tier 1 tower and there was no TP rotations, but it doesn't take that much to kill a pos 5 Omni. Not yet.
Yeah, it's still fairly squishy. Not the biggest kill for AG to find, and that's where the concern comes in. You really want to start dealing with Moon at some point. Stop that farm from coming out. Moon's got a 2-level lead over Mamangdaya now, and the TA is just getting pretty scary. Desolator's only 1 part away.
Have a look at this though, John. Mid one. Look what he's building. More Dispel. So he's got, I know what he's trying to do. He's got the Kraken Shell Dispel, the Heavenly Grace Dispel, and now he's going to have a Satanic... No, he changed. Okay. He's going to buy it later. But it would have been quite cute, right? With the Satanic, how do you kill him? Like, it does take lifesteal off the Anchor Smash as well. So one Anchor Smash on a couple heroes, you would just be full HP from nothing. And he is going to go back to the Satanic. I think that is going to be ridiculous. Because again, you have so many Dispels already on this Tidehunter. And now you're going to have a Dispel plus an unbelievable amount of lifesteal.
Yeah, the one concern is the farm timing of that. Again, he doesn't have as much space as they're giving towards Moon this time. He's the one that has to show up in lane. He's the gank target. He can clear out the Spiderlings, can depush by himself, but it's not that quick. I just worry that in his time farming for this one big item, AG's going to have several smaller items to rip right through him, and he's just going to be stuck with Brown Boots, Hood of Defiance, Satanic at, say, 20-minute mark. And that's a long time away. We'll see if mid 1 does get some room to start to build up. Maybe once this Deso is up and running with Moon, they can shift the farm priority a bit towards that pause 1 tide to start getting running.
Yeah. Moon even getting a few Spiderlings for himself now with those side blades. For any TA players out there, count your blessings. In 11 days, no more TA. Just so you guys know. She will and truly be deleted, I'm sure. As bot lane, Mamangdaya going to go for Arfu. A bit of a solo attempt. Going to be a TP, but no. LYM, he's going to interrupt, and DB's going to come in for a nice, easy pickup on himself. And DB, he's gone for that standard Maelstrom build-up that we are used to seeing from POS 1 Bloodseekers. But I've got to say his net worth is quite low. Just to be expected, because you are playing a hero that can't really flash farm without one of those core farming items. And now that he does have it, he should be able to catch up quite quickly. Though I say that, it is still against the Moon TA, so, you know. Nobody really out-farms TA right now.
Yeah, you just can't keep up with that pace. Maybe something like a Luna could, or a Medusa with enough space kind of keeps up. But the TA now, especially with the Deso done on Moon, and this is SMG's Spike. They immediately smoke up on Moon. He has a double damage rune. They could sneak a Roshan, and Moon just makes his way there.
Yeah, I mean, why the hell not? Minus armor, the double minus armor with the Meld Strike and Deso. It's just kind of ridiculous. They do spine him though. A nice torrent. Mamangdaya. He had those spidey senses tingling. Moon. Gonna get X back into the Roshan pit. Meanwhile, on the other side of that mid-river, Fu's been ruptured up. He's gonna get the silence, a nice boulder smash, but they have the damage with DB. And now KP, he dropped the wall, but the finger's out, and he's gonna die as well. Oh, the Savior Buddy Syndrome. And now Mamangdaya, he was being chased down, but he's going to get a nice torrent off. It might still be under the egg as well. They get the bone to boop. The Heavenly Grace is there to try and help him out. He'll try to fight. There's a big Ravage from mid 1 onto 4 heroes, but is it going to be enough? Not quite. Mamangdaya, he still runs as now. Moon is in big danger. Earthspike is there. They do take him down. DB's the one to get it. Now Wami moves in from the side. Arfu, he's in trouble. They'll get the buyback from Rogi. They need their help right now, but Arfu, he is going to drop. Rogi, he'll just have to save mid 1. But mid 1, quite frankly, he wasn't in trouble anyway. In fact, DB now, or rather Wami, will go after Rogi, and Rogi, he'll try to run, but the X is going to be there with the torrent. See ya, Rogi. Nice 51-second respawn timer as mid 1 is the only one left, and he's stuck around for that mid-tier 1 tower. They want to protect it for Moon's TA, but he is not really that tanky without his Omni Knight around. And that'll basically be a full team wipe from Army Geniuses.
They play that so well. They dance around on DB. He doesn't even die. He was on like 20 HP or something running away at the end. Wami with a good flank in the side, managing to catch them off guard. And it's one of those things with a Bloodseeker. If you don't burst him down, if you don't have that burst damage on hand, if he finds kills in the middle of the fight, he will regen back up. And they were all so low on SMG. The wall was not ideal coming out from KP, unfortunately. And the rest of the initiation was just sort of in shambles. I have to say, a lot of that came down to Mamangdaya having this really early Heaven's Halberd. Like, it just completely negated the damage output of Moon. And if Moon can't right-click, well, you have a pause 1 Tide who doesn't have any major items yet. You've got an offlane Darkseer who's still working towards finishing the Ags. There's a severe lack of damage there for SMG before any of these items are up, if Moon can't hit. So he's going to need to kind of space himself out and just watch himself, because the Halberd will just counteract all this farm on Moon.
Absolutely.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Mid one. He's going to spot out UK. Trap's going to be popped. He's got a fair bit of damage, but Wami's going to move in now. UK, he still has Icarus dive, and we'll get it off as now Wami. He's gone onto Roger to make sure that mid one's not going to have the support, and that is going to be a lot of damage mid one. He'll try to tank through it, but it's not going to be enough. I love the way AG play that. They have a ward to scout out Rogi from the backside, and Wami, he understands as long as the Omni's dead, then mid one's not going to be able to survive, and now they're going for a Roshan play. And that's huge, John. Taking the Roshan away from a TA lineup. That is a big, big deal. SMG, they're not going to be happy about this.
They get the scan off, but they're out of position for the contest right now, and without the Ravage, it just feels like such a wonky fight to take. So you've got the second life here on DB, Roche number 1. No big items dropped, but they are going in for defense bot as well.
Oh, Afu is off the mark. He tried to roll in on LYM, but it doesn't connect. They might get him, but or maybe not even. LYM, he is still alive. KP, he turned around for a second to try and confirm the kill. He might pay for it, though. Do they have the X? Not quite. He's going to try and go for a run with that Surge. It is max level Surge, in fact. DB going to keep going. A nice Ravage mid one. He'll get the Aegis down, and now it's right onto Mamang Daya. KP, meanwhile, still trying to get out of there. DB, he might have to go for a fight. Blood Rider's down, Rupture out onto KP. He just won't walk though. He'll stand his ground and wait out the Rupture as mid one. He'll take all the damage. There's your Meld Strike out. Is it enough? DB, he'll go in from the backside. He does get KP, but loses his own life for it. It's just not worth the trade. As now SMG, they should be able to go for another fight.
Dire's top tower.
But it looks like they won't be able to catch anyone. So a 1-for-1 in the end. Like 1-for-2 if you count Arfu's death. He does respawn. But it is still going to be favorable for SMG in terms of gold. And, you know, XP is pretty even. But DB dies in the POS 1 Bloodseeker, and I'd say that is still a decent enough deal for SMG.
And they managed to rip through the Aegis, take away that tool. However,
just respawned Arfu. Very, very deep in the bot lane, and he's going to suffer for it. Mamang Daya wanted to get that nice Tidebringer hit, but Wami, he'll take the kill instead.
It's still doesn't quite compensate for losing your Bloodseeker. I think if you look at the core matchup there, considering DB as the 1 and Moon as the 1, you need some armor here. DB is trying to rush the BKB so he doesn't get controlled up, but I think the Psyblade damage coming through from Moon is just way too high right now. With the Deso, rushing towards the BKB, with the blink up on Moon, he's highly mobile. And this time around, SMG managed to execute in the right way. They kind of hide Moon, and they force the side of AG to jump mid one first, and that's not the target you want to keep down. They still managed to get the Heaven's Halberd off on Moon, but they were too scattered to really collapse onto the TA, and they didn't manage to have their spell use properly there, because they popped Egg way early on. So I think AG's got to be careful about taking this bait 1 by 1, as Moon can just clean up, but you're still fairly happy about that.
Absolutely. Well, Silence almost there from Arfu to cancel the dive, but he doesn't quite get it on target. And now this is where the fun begins, John. Mamang Daya, he's got the Ags up. Bring on the Torrent Storm, baby. I always love seeing this, apart from the fact that my FPS tanks every single time he pops it. It just feels impossible to fight into without BKBs, this Torrent Storm.
Oh yeah. It's obnoxious. Like, you do have the stat resist with Heavenly Grace, but you can't, you know, stop all of them. They're still going to micro-stun you for a bit. You will have to watch out. There is a collapse here on SMG going down bot. Trying for that tier 2 still.
No, absolutely. Oh, LIM. Oh, they had the Tinker Ward down. They'll get the vision, and that's going to be Arfu straight off the bat going down, as the rest of the SMG side, they will just leave the area. They're not going to bother. Just let the Earth Spirit die. AG, they're still accumulating gold. I know we talked about Moon on this TA, and he's farming up, he's getting there, but John, he's only about 1.5k ahead of Mamang Daya on that Kunkka. I just don't think it's quite enough to really have that devastating TA impact.
No, it's not big enough. You do have the Crystallis up, so damage is going to be great. Into the Daedalus next. The lack of BKBs on SMG might hurt them. Like, you just kind of want to break the control off, even with all these dispels on hand. Even just getting stunned up and then just having the follow-up come true is enough to kind of win out these fights here.
Oh, mid one, Tara gonna hit. Mamangdaya is there. Earthspike out. He does pop the Hood of Defiance. Is it gonna be enough? Probably not. With the Sunray percentage heal, it's just so much. They drop the wall though, but there's Yeg out now in the backside. They still keep mid one alive, but Wami, he gets the job done. Back into the mid lane. Who have they found? It's gonna be KP on the Darkseer, and there goes my FPS. As Arfu, he does drop, and now you've got the TA Moon. He is gone. DB, he'll go for another. Spiders are still hungry. And Rogi looks very tasty for Wami.
Oh god, yeah, they just ripped right through them. They got the target they wanted. They forced SMG to kind of go in one by one. There was no mana for KP to play with. He's got the Satanic. I didn't really see the Dispel work at all. Like, they kept that control, constant control. It's what I was talking about. Even with all these Dispels on hand, on your Tide, on your Omni Knight, with a Satanic, you still need a BKB, because that one piece of control, the follow-up from AG is still insane. They've still got great burst. They can just chain stun you despite the stat resist, and they just have enough damage to rip you through in that downtime. So the lack of protection for SMG is hurting them in the long term. They lose their outpost because the tier 2s are gone. They only have their bot lane with a tier 1 left. Map control, it's looking very, very short here on SMG's end. And they'll have to find a way to split some pharma. Like mid 1 on a pause 1 Tide. Satanic is great. He's got 2.4k HP. It doesn't matter. He still dies really fast.
Yeah, it's just not doing enough. And there's so many things to dispel is kind of the problem. It's you gotta kind of make your mind up. What do you want to dispel? Where do you need the lifesteal? Like, it makes him tanky, but when you've got AG that are just literally running at you with no care or remorse, it's very, very hard to get anything done. It's Moon. He's chasing down spiders right now. What is it, John?
I'm looking at Wami's build. He has really gone left field with Brood. That's the old Brood build, the damage Brood. He's got the Crystallis, he's had the Diffusal for a while, BKB. No aura items, no pipe, no mech, none of that, because he has to deal with the Darkseer and Tide anyway, and the Omni Knight. So might as well just get damage to get the burst, and it's been paying off. And this is what I love about AG. They're just willing to change things up every single time.
No, they're doing a great job so far. Roshan not going to be up yet. Arfu, he did get spotted. Torrent is off the mark. Mid 1, Rupture is there. And now with the Sunray, it's going to be a lot of damage. Rupture, or rather Ravage is out. They do heal him up. They're going to try and take this fight. But mid 1, he's still dropping, and they all fought underneath the egg. Now, you can't fight in the egg like that as Wami now. He's just going to go on to Moon. He will TP out. Arfu, will he be as lucky? He will be. It's a 3-for-1. They wanted to try and save mid 1 on the Tide, but it really seems as simple as that. Just Rupture the Tide Hunter, get the egg out. Yeah, SMG, they feel the need to protect that Tide, and then everyone just gets stunned and takes damage underneath the egg. It's just too much.
Yeah, it's just way too much coming out from AG. Issue for SMG is that they're not the ones forcing these fights. And we talked about the combinations with VAP Wall, with the Ravage on top. They are getting some good Ravages, but the execution's just not in favor of SMG at all. They need to jump first and get that control themselves before finding these kills.
Are they even going to get this kill? UK, he's out. It's a bit of a shame, really. Like, the Phoenix should arguably be an easier kill, but he just Icarus dives away. It's 31-6, John. I'd love to have a 3-2-2 dream active, but it's, you know, it's not there. It's just not happening.
No. You do at least have the Daedalus up for Moon, so there's some dreams of big crits here for RTA. I just don't know if Moon can do it. Like, he has to be in such a perfect spot for this. They will smoke up. So if SMG can find the right target and get the fight they want, it can go their way. They don't have Ravage though, so they have to watch out if it is a big fight.
Oh, you got UK. It's a nice start here for SMG. He didn't have the egg anyway, so it's, you know, it's still a decent kill though. Moon, gonna move up towards the top lane. Mamangdaya would be a much, much better kill. They are gonna rush for it now, but Mamangdaya is gonna know about it as he tries to TP out Arfu. He has a roll, he won't connect. It's half a second off.
Oh, no.
Wami, he'll TP as well. They're not gonna check the tree line. I mean, you still got a decent enough kill on the Phoenix, but he's going to respawn before Roshan's up anyway. So you get a bit of gold, but that's about all you get here for SMG. And now AG, they're going to group up and smoke. Again, UK is going to be up in 5, so he can always TP and join the team fight in time. And you're going to have Roshan probably up roughly around the time this team fight ends. So either team that wins this will have first dibs on that Roshan, and they do jump in. Hex is out, they found Moon. That's the target they want. The Heavenly Grace is there. They do X him up. Boat is going to fly out. It does connect onto mid one, who's been ruptured up again. Tidebringer, or rather, the Torrent Storm is just going, but Moon, they can't get through mid one, and now they can turn Wami. He is going to drop. Monster kill streak going the way of the TA as Mamang Daya. He's going to try and back off at Moon. He's doing so much damage. They are still trying to kill mid one, but I think they've wasted too much time on this, as DB's now going to drop, and Moon is on a triple kill. He'll try to go for an Ultra, and he will get it. They just focused too much time on the Tide. And this time mid one, he really used that Satanic quite nicely. And they just could not get through the raw HP pool.
Yeah, that's a big turnaround for SMG. About a 5k gold swing their way. AG, it looked good when they caught out Moon, but they didn't line up their spells on that TA. She still managed to blink out. Wasn't the rupture target, so Moon was just free to get his hits off. And that's the one big difference as well. Like, even with mid one living true, Moon got his damage off. And that he couldn't really do that in the other fight, so the gold investment in this TA has paid off. They get to dig into the high ground. There's no egg coming out on the respawn of that Phoenix, so the team fight threat isn't as big. They still have the Kunkka spells. They are going to lose a lot of space here from just that one fight.
Yeah, it feels like the later this game goes now, the stronger that SMG is going to feel. Especially with mid one's talents, right? Because you've got... The level 20 isn't that amazing. Like, plus 30 Kraken Shell, minus 4 Gush Armor, you know, it's okay. But once you get to that level 25 mark, with the plus 200 damage or 20% cooldown reduction, that's when things get very fun for mid one. And I think that's the point where SMG will feel like he's an actual POS 1 Tide, as now they do jump in. Mamang Daya, he's just getting shredded to bits. Torrent Storm is there, but it's all too late. I found another problem here, John, for Army Geniuses, is they're continuously fighting without vision. I don't think Mamang Daya was quite expecting the triangle to be occupied. I think he thought they were taking Roshan. But this is the second fight in a row now where they have not had vision going into the team fight. And it has cost them heavily.
Yeah, and that's probably just going to cost them the Roshan fight here as well. SMG, Win's just soloing it. He's got enough damage to get that done himself. So you're gonna have to deal with Aegis, Shard, and Cheese, and they're still going for the fight here.
Meanwhile, top lane's being forced in by both supports. Interesting decision made there from Army Geniuses. They surely knew the Roshan was happening. And that's, again, going to cost them heavily. And now, if you're SMG, you're looking at high ground again.
Yeah, it's a tough defense. They do have the egg up when on the respawn. They've got the boat up as well. But their damage is starting to really taper off. Moon is too big. He's about 7k ahead of the next cores. He's got the full Daedalus up. He's got his BKB. So keeping that TA locked in is hard, if not outright impossible with all the dispels. And SMG have managed to stall out the damage, the spikes of AG. AG, they couldn't really progress on high ground. They have to hold their own now. They have to clean up their team fight. Otherwise, it just starts to collapse for SMG's way.
And that it is, mid one. He'll clear out the spinelings of Wami. If they lose this team fight, I don't think they have enough buybacks to defend that final line of barracks. Or tier 4s for that matter. They do still have a bottom tier 2 tower, but again, this fight is going to be very difficult now. Even with mid one having those shards up. You've got KP with the Ags as well. It just makes him that much tankier. As Wami, he's going to try to Fu, but it's a nice kick away. Wami, it seems like he's trying to bait out the spells here from mid one. At least the Ravage, but they are not being used up. And Moon, he's just jumped in now with the Heavenly Grace, but the Hex is out. This could be bad for him. He'll try to go for a run, but the Sun Ray is burning him down. But the stun is not going to be there, but a nice torrent. It will connect on to Moon. He's going to lose the Aegis. Can they kill him a secondary time? Earthspike is there, mid one, a big Ravage out. He does connect on 3 heroes, but there's your wall as well. KP, they do get UK. He's going to commit the buyback. Mid one now. Looks like they're just more than happy to back.
Radiant's mid
Even with the
tower
double
is under
double
attack.
buybacks committed here from SMG, they're satisfied with what they've got. And Wami is going to get stunned up. He gets caught out of position and Moon just takes him down. SMG in prime position now to go for that final lane of barracks. And they should know that Wami doesn't have buyback. In fact, Arfu, he got another target. UK! He's going to die back. That's 2 heroes down without buyback. And now SMG, they put the loser spray down. And they're going right after tier 4 towers.
Oh man, they managed to hold out in SMG's end. AG, it looked really good. They had a massive lead. They couldn't capitalize on it. They called it GG. SMG, they just gave too much time for SMG to build up. And that one fight by that ramp on the Dire jungle just really ruined it. They got the jump on Moon. They did not throw their follow-up stunts on him. They did not throw the rupture on him. They still focused on mid one, where the issue was that Moon was in range to actually duel all of them down. The damage flying out from that TA was way too much to deal with, and SMG just built on top of it. It was a very interesting draft from both sides, you know, safe lane tied, not as impactful from mid one, but he bought the space out for that TA to be big, and it just went rolling from there.
I think it works, right? Like, you gotta have trust in your teammates. Moon did a great job in the end, like, just really just started destroying people once that Daedalus was up, and yeah, mid one, he was hitting the Ravagers quite nicely. You know, he was constantly getting 3-4 man Ravagers, so I think he just did his job. We are going to move on to the second game, though, and that should be coming up in roughly 10 minutes, so we're going to head to a very short break. Right after that break, we'll be back with game number 2 between Army Geniuses and, of course, SMG.